What if I told you that the one thing you've been doing every single day to stay healthy, the thing your doctor praised, the thing your family feels relieved about, is actually doing almost nothing to prevent the exact problem you're most afraid of? Most people over 60 who walk regularly assume their legs are being taken care of. I understand that assumption. For 30 years, walking has been the advice. And for your heart, your circulation, your mood, it still is. But there is a specific type of muscle fiber in your legs, the kind responsible for standing up from a low chair, catching yourself on an uneven sidewalk, climbing stairs without gripping the railing, and walking does not touch it. Not even close. These fibers have been disappearing quietly year after year while you logged your steps and believed you were covered. Today I'm going to show you what actually stops that loss. And it's simpler than you think. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. The muscle no one told you about. Let me ask you something, and I want you to think about this honestly. When did you last stand up from a low couch without leaning forward first? When did stairs stop feeling automatic and start feeling like something you think about before you do? Most of my patients can't pinpoint the exact moment it changed. They just know that somewhere in the last few years their legs started feeling less reliable. And almost every single one of them tells me the same thing. But I walk every day, doctor. I don't understand. That right there is the problem. And it is not their fault. Nobody explained this to them. So let me be the first person to tell you clearly. You have two types of muscle fibers in your legs. The first type handles endurance, slow, steady, low-intensity effort, long walks, gentle movement. These fibers are your workhorse. The second type is different. These are your power fibers, the ones that fire when you push yourself out of a chair, catch yourself on an uneven sidewalk, or take that extra step on the stairs when your foot almost doesn't clear the riser. Researchers call them type 2 fibers. I call them your independence fibers, because when they're strong, you don't think about these movements. When they're gone, every one of them becomes a conscious effort. Here is what no one tells you. After the age of 60, your body loses type 2 fibers at roughly twice the rate it loses the endurance fibers. Twice the rate. And walking, no matter how faithfully you do it, only uses your endurance fibers. Your power fibers are sitting there waiting for a signal that never comes. So they shrink, year after year, quietly. This condition has a medical name, sarcopenia. It begins in your 40s and accelerates sharply after 60. And left unaddressed, it doesn't just make your legs feel tired. It changes how you move through the world. Your stride shortens, your reaction time slows. The small corrections your body used to make automatically, the tiny adjustments that kept you upright when you stepped off a curb, those corrections get delayed and sometimes they don't come at all. The encouraging truth is this: type 2 fibers respond to the right stimulus at any age. 70 years old, 75, even 80. Your body has not given up. It has simply been waiting for the correct signal. And that is exactly what these 5 exercises are designed to send. Exercise 1. The slow sit to stand. Here is something I want you to try right now before we even begin. Stand up from wherever you are sitting. Do it the way you normally would. Don't think about it. Just stand up. Now sit back down. But this time, do it slowly. Take 4 full seconds to lower yourself. Count them out loud if you need to. Did you feel that? That burning sensation in your thighs? That slight trembling as you fought gravity on the way down? That is not weakness. That is your type 2 fibers waking up, possibly for the first time in years. And that 4-second lowering motion is the most important thing I am going to teach you today. Most people think the hard part of sitting down is standing back up. Medically speaking, that is backwards. When you lower yourself into a chair slowly, when your muscles are working to control the descent rather than just surrendering to gravity, that is called an eccentric contraction. And decades of research in exercise physiology consistently show that eccentric work produces greater strength gains in older adults than any other form of resistance training. Your muscles are not just moving, They are rebuilding. Think of it this way. When you drop into a chair, you are letting gravity do all the work. Your muscles get no signal, no challenge, no reason to stay strong. But when you lower yourself with control, your quads and glutes are essentially acting as a brake on a steep hill, working hard the entire way down. That braking motion is one of the most powerful rebuilding signals you can send to aging leg muscles. Here's how to do this correctly. Use a sturdy chair. Dining chairs work better than soft couches for this. Sit with your feet flat on the floor about hip-width apart. If you need to start with your hands on the armrest, that is completely fine and entirely normal. Stand up at your natural pace. Then on the way down, count to 4 in your head. Slow, controlled, deliberate. Do not let yourself drop the last inch. Lower all the way. Aim for 8 repetitions, rest about 45 seconds, then repeat for 3 sets total. If 3 sets feels like too much in the first week, 2 sets is a meaningful start. Reduce how much you rely on your hands by a little each week. Most people who begin needing both hands for support can do 5 or 6 repetitions unassisted within 3 to 4 weeks. That progress is real, and it happens faster than most people expect. Now, if the sit to stand is your foundation, the next exercise is what turns that foundation into armor. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now, let's move on to point number 2. Exercise 2. The wall. Sit. There is a moment that happens to a lot of my patients around age 65 or 70. They are standing in line at the grocery store or waiting for a grandchild's school play to begin, or just standing at the kitchen counter finishing the dishes, and their legs start to give. Not dramatically, just a quiet ache, a subtle shakiness, a feeling that their thighs are no longer entirely trustworthy. They sit down as soon as they can, and they never mention it to anyone. If that sounds familiar, I want you to pay close attention to what I am about to show you. The wall sit looks at first glance like you are simply leaning against a wall and resting. It is anything but. When done correctly, this single position places more sustained demand on your type 2 muscle fibers than most people generate in an entire day of normal activity. It requires no equipment, no gym, no impact on your joints, and no complex movement that could put you off balance. Just a wall, your own body weight, and the willingness to hold still while your legs do something they haven't been asked to do in a very long time. Here is how to do it. Stand with your back flat against a wall. Any solid wall in your home will work. Walk your feet forward about 18 inches. Then slowly slide your back down the wall until your knees are at a comfortable bend, somewhere between 30 and 45 degrees. You do not need to go to a full 90-degree angle. That depth is unnecessary and uncomfortable for most people starting out. A moderate bend is all you need to send a strong signal. Hold that position. Within 15 to 20 seconds, you will feel a deep burn building in your thighs. I want you to understand what that sensation actually is. That is not damage. That is your quadriceps working under sustained load. Your type 2 fibers contracting hard to prevent you from sliding down. Your body is registering a clear message. These muscles are needed, they must be maintained. That burn is the signal. Start by holding for 15 seconds, rest 60 seconds, then repeat 2 more times. Over the following weeks, work toward 30 seconds, then 45, then 60. Write your hold time down after each session. That number going up is one of the clearest, most measurable signs of genuine leg strength returning. One thing to watch. If you feel strain in your lower back instead of your thighs, walk your feet out a few more inches from the wall. Your back should be relaxed and flat. Your legs should be doing all the work. They are ready for it. And so are you. Now, we have challenged the front of your legs, but there is a movement most people quietly stop doing without realizing it, and its absence is quietly costing them more than they know. Exercise 3. The step up with full control. Nobody announces the day they stop using the stairs. There is no conversation, no decision, no moment of surrender. It just happens gradually. You start taking the elevator when the escalator is right there. You book the ground floor hotel room without thinking twice. You visit your daughter less often because her house has 6 steps leading to the front door and the railing feels a little unsteady. Small adjustments. Reasonable ones, you tell yourself, but beneath every one of those adjustments is the same quiet fear that your legs might not catch you if something goes wrong. That fear is not irrational, but it is also not permanent. The step up is the exercise that addresses it most directly because it trains the exact movement pattern your body needs to navigate stairs safely. At a height you control, at a pace you control, with support as close as you need it. No gym required, no special equipment. The bottom step of your own staircase or a single sturdy book stacked 4 inches off the ground is enough to begin. Here is what makes this exercise different from simply climbing stairs for exercise. The ascent, stepping up, is only half the movement. The descent is where the real training happens. When you step back down with control, taking 2 to 3 full seconds on that lowering motion, your glutes and hamstrings are working eccentrically, the same powerful rebuilding mechanism we discussed in the sit to stand. Most people step up and then just drop back down without thinking. That drop is a missed opportunity every single time. To do this correctly, stand facing your step with one hand resting lightly on the wall or railing beside you. Step up with your right foot, pressing through your heel to rise. Bring your left foot up to meet it so you are standing fully on the step. Then step down with your right foot first, lowering slowly over 2 to 3 seconds before your foot touches the ground. That is 1 repetition. Complete 10 on the right side, then switch and lead with your left for 10 more. 2 sets is a solid starting point. Watch your knee on the way up. It should track directly over your second toe, not collapsing inward. If you notice your knee drifting toward the center, that is your glutes signaling they need more work. This exercise will help correct exactly that over time. One more thing worth saying clearly, if this feels harder than you expected, that information matters. It means the step up is finding exactly the weakness it is designed to fix. Before we move to exercise 4, there is something I need to stop and tell you, because what comes next could be the difference between getting stronger and quietly making things worse. Important warning. Before you go further, I need you to hear this. I have been a doctor long enough to know that the people most likely to overdo it are not the reckless ones, they are the motivated ones, the ones who finally feel hopeful about something and want to make up for lost time in a single afternoon. If that sounds like you right now, this is the part of the video I wrote specifically for you. What I am about to say is not meant to slow you down. It is meant to make sure that what you build over the next several weeks actually lasts. First, let me be direct about who should not attempt these exercises independently without speaking to their physician first. If you have had a knee or hip replacement within the last 6 months, your joint is still in a phase of tissue remodeling, and loading it without professional guidance can compromise that process in ways that are not always immediately obvious. If your blood pressure is currently uncontrolled, meaning you are experiencing readings consistently above 160/100 despite medication, the sustained muscular effort in the wall sit and step up can drive pressure higher in ways that need to be monitored. And if you are experiencing acute joint pain, not the familiar stiffness of arthritis, but sharp, new, or worsening pain, that is your body asking for evaluation, not exercise. Now, for everyone else, and that is most of you, here is the mistake I see most often, and it is not what you would expect. The most common error is not doing too little. It is doing too much in the first week because the exercises feel manageable in the moment. Muscle soreness after resistance training in older adults peaks at 48 to 72 hours after the session, not immediately. So you feel fine on Monday, do all 5 exercises twice, feel fine Tuesday morning, and then Wednesday you can barely get out of bed. That experience discourages people from continuing. 1 session every other day, 3 to 4 times per week, is enough to produce real results. Your recovery window matters as much as the training itself. Stop immediately if you feel sharp pain in any joint during a movement, chest tightness or pressure, sudden dizziness, or pain that shoots down one leg. These are not signals to push through. They are signals to sit down, rest, and call your doctor. For those with arthritic knees, reduce the depth on the wall, sit to a very slight bend. Even 15 degrees provides meaningful stimulus. For the step up, lower the step height to 2 inches until comfort improves. For the sit to stand, a higher chair seat reduces load on the joint significantly without eliminating the benefit. You are not fragile, but you deserve to be treated with precision. Now, let's continue. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. Exercise 4, the standing hip hinge. Something I have noticed after years of seeing patients in their 60s and 70s is this. The ones who develop chronic lower back pain are rarely the ones who lifted something too heavy. More often, they are the ones who stopped using their posterior chain, the muscles running along the back of their body, and didn't realize it until the pain arrived to announce the vacancy. Your hamstrings, your glutes, the deep stabilizers along your lumbar spine, these muscles are designed to work together as a system. When that system stays strong, your back is protected, your posture stays upright, and your legs have a second engine powering every step you take. When that system weakens quietly over years of sitting and walking without ever loading the backside of the body, the lower back begins compensating for muscles that are no longer pulling their weight. That compensation is exhausting, and eventually it becomes painful. The standing hip hinge is the exercise that speaks directly to this system, and it may be the most underused movement in any senior fitness program. Here is how it works. Stand in front of your kitchen counter or a sturdy chair back, close enough to rest both hands on it lightly. Your feet should be hip-width apart, a soft bend in your knees. Not locked, not deeply bent, just easy. Now, keeping your back straight and your spine long, push your hips backward as if someone placed a hand on them and gently pressed. Your torso will tip forward naturally as your hips move back. You should feel a gentle pulling sensation along the back of your thighs, your hamstrings engaging, and a tightening through your glutes. Hold that position for 2 seconds. Then drive your hips forward to return to standing tall, squeezing your glutes at the top. That is 1 repetition. Aim for 12, rest briefly, and complete 2 sets. The cue that matters most here is the distinction between hinging and bending. Bending happens at your spine. It rounds your back and strains your discs. Hinging happens at your hips. It loads your hamstrings and protects everything above them. A simple way to feel the difference: imagine your tailbone reaching backward toward the wall behind you, not your shoulders curling downward toward the floor. Tailbone back, spine long. That is the movement. If your hamstrings feel very tight in the early weeks, reduce how far you tip forward. Even a shallow hinge done correctly builds the pattern your body needs. Most people feel this exercise in places they forgot they had muscles. That is exactly the point. Now, power and strength are only part of what keeps you safe on your feet. The final exercise addresses something else entirely, and it may be the most important 2 minutes of your entire week. Exercise 5, the single leg stance progression. Every fall begins the same way. Not with a dramatic stumble, not with a slippery floor, not even with weak legs in the way most people imagine. It begins with a fraction of a second, the moment between when your foot lands somewhere unexpected and when your body decides what to do about it. In younger adults, that decision happens almost instantly. The ankle adjusts, the knee stabilizes, the weight shifts, and the moment passes without anyone noticing. After 60, that response slows, and the gap between the stumble and the correction is exactly where falls live. What closes that gap is not strength alone. It is proprioception, your body's internal sense of where it is in space, how weight is distributed across your feet, and how quickly your muscles need to respond to an unexpected shift. Proprioception is not something you either have or don't have. It is a system. And like every other system in this video, it responds to training. This final exercise is the only one on this list that trains that system directly, and it requires nothing except the bathroom counter you already stand at twice a day. Starting today, every time you brush your teeth, stand on 1 foot. Rest your fingertips lightly on the counter, not gripping, just touching, the way you might rest a hand on a table to feel its surface. Lift your right foot just an inch off the floor. Hold for 20 seconds. Then switch to your left. That is your entire starting point. 30 seconds per side, twice a day, attached to something you already do without thinking. What is happening beneath that stillness is significant. The small muscles of your ankle, the stabilizers around your knee, and the sensors embedded throughout your foot are all firing continuously, making hundreds of tiny micro corrections per minute to keep you upright. This is not passive standing. This is active neurological training. After 1 to 2 weeks, reduce your counter contact to a single fingertip. After 3 to 4 weeks, try 5 seconds with no contact at all. But keep the counter within immediate reach. Progress is measured in seconds and in how steady those seconds feel, not in how far you can push. One important note, the slight swaying you feel when you first try this is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that your proprioceptive system is working, searching, calibrating, learning. Grip the counter if you need to. Release when you are ready. There is no timeline to judge yourself against. You now have 5 exercises, 1 complete system, and a body that is more capable of responding than most people at your age have been led to believe. Let me show you exactly how to put all of this together. Final takeaway. Your legs are not giving up on you. Before you close this video, I want to tell you something that took me years of practicing medicine to understand, and that I wish I had said to patients much earlier in my career. The story most people over 60 have been told about their bodies is a story of inevitable decline, that weakness is natural, that slowing down is just part of the process, that the right response to feeling less steady on your feet is to do less, move carefully, and manage expectations. I understand why that story exists, but I have watched too many patients accept it as fact, reorganize their entire lives around it, and quietly lose independence they never had to lose. Your legs did not stop being capable of getting stronger. They stopped receiving the signal that strength was still required of them. Everything in this video, every exercise, every explanation, every warning, exists to restore that signal. The slow sit to stand tells your quads and glutes that controlled power is still needed. The wall sit tells your type 2 fibers that sustained effort is still expected. The step up rebuilds the exact confidence your body needs on every staircase you will ever encounter again. The hip hinge wakes up the posterior chain that has been quietly compensating for years, and the single leg balance work closes the gap, that fraction of a second that stands between a stumble and a fall. Here is your plan, written simply. Do these 5 exercises in order 3 to 4 times per week. The entire session takes between 10 and 15 minutes. Morning or early afternoon is ideal when your energy and coordination are naturally at their peak. If you can only fit in 2 exercises on a given day, make them the sit to stand and the wall sit. Those 2 alone will produce measurable changes. Here is my challenge to you. Do this program for 14 days. Keep a simple note on your phone or a piece of paper on the refrigerator. Your wall sit hold time, your sit to stand count, how your balance feels on each foot. Numbers, observations, anything concrete. Then come back to this video and do an honest reassessment. What changed? What feels different? What movement that felt uncertain 2 weeks ago now feels within reach? Write it in the comments. Not for me, for the person who finds this video next week and needs to know that recovery at this age is not just possible in theory, it is possible in practice, in real kitchens, on real staircases, in real lives. Your legs are not giving up on you, they were simply waiting for a reason to stay strong. Today, you just gave them 5. The decision you make today lives in your body tomorrow. Here is what I know after decades of medicine. The patients who age well are rarely the ones with perfect genetics or perfect health histories. They are the ones who paid attention one day to one video, one conversation, one quiet moment of honesty with themselves, and decided that what happened next was still within their influence. Your body after 60 is not fragile beyond repair, but it is less forgiving of neglect than it used to be. Small deficits compound. Quiet weaknesses grow loud, and the distance between independence and dependence is often measured not in years, but in the small daily choices that nobody sees. Now here's what I am asking you to do. Leave a comment below with just one number. How many chair stands you can do in 30 seconds right now. That is your baseline. Come back in 2 weeks and tell me your new number. That thread of accountability, that before and after is worth more than any motivation speech I could give you. Your future self lives in what you do today. Make it count. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.